ora e te iwi and welcome to UFC on Sky ko Ravinder Hunia tōku ingoa. This weekend, UFC 273 promises to bring fireworks with two titles on the line, the men's bantamweight and the men's featherweight. Here to help me break it all down is second-ranked flyweight Kai Kara-France. He's here to help us look at this card ahead, but also talk to us about his journey and how he's going at the moment. Kia ora, kia koe.
Kia ora, thank you for having me. Awesome to finally be here in the flesh and actually chatting, not on behind the screens. Yeah.
It is nice. I'll ask you first, how does it feel to be called the #2 flyweight in the UFC?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, but you know, so much hard work has happened, and before the lead up to this fight, it wasn't just a 10-week fight camp, it's like a 10-year fight camp. So we're here now. Just took out a guy that's never lost, you know, took his O, so took his spot as well, #2 in the world, and we're just talking titles now, so exciting place to be. And you know, this is what happens when you just work hard, keep your head down, and let your work do the talking.
Exactly, and you are a big role model in that sense. Everybody knows it. Before we do get on to where does this leave you and what the road does look like for you now, let's talk about that fight against Askar Askarov. Obviously, the two fights before him, you won via KO, this one being unanimous decision. So obviously a much different competition here.
Yeah, well, yeah, definitely. You know, when you're fighting the best guys in the world, you're going to have to, you know, switch it up, change it up. And it's a different kind of puzzle to solve. The Cody fight, you know, different kind of style, a guy that's a striker, a guy that's aggressive. I knew exactly how that fight was going to pan out, and we found the chin early, and we got the finish in the first round. This fight, I knew he was going to be, I guess, a lot more durable, as well as different skill sets that he brought to the table. You know, being an elite wrestler, being a high-level grappler. In the fight, that's kind of how it took place. He had my back early, got the takedown, was, you know, had body triangle, worst position I could be in, going for chokes, but I didn't feel at any point did I feel in danger of getting submitted. So that's just mentally where I'm at, you know. I just say, you have to kill me to get me out, and I felt so calm there. I could hear Eugene saying, just fight the hands. I'm one of the best in the division of fighting the hands, and yeah, I just had to ride out, you know, him trying to get the choke, but couldn't, and then he got frustrated at the end of the round. He pushed me, but I knew that broke him, because best position he could have got me out, but he couldn't. So yeah. I just looked at him. I said, now it's my time. So second round, I just you just had to back myself, put the pressure on him, found my range, southpaw fighter, so different kind of setups that we have to do, but eventually, you know, started to find a home for my right hand, and then started to hurt him. You know, a couple of times I thought I could have got him out, but you know, he's got a chin, he's durable, and he did well to kind of stay in the fight. But man, I was feeding off that crowd. Fighting in Columbus, it felt like I was fighting in Auckland, New Zealand.
That was crazy, how the crowd got behind you like that.
Yeah. I've never had that in another city where I felt like it was my hometown, and I guess him being Russian made more people want to support me, and you know, I just had to play to it, and yeah, you saw that momentum switch. And then in the third round, you know, just similar, just sticking to finding my range and making landing some significant shots, and then neutralized a few of his takedowns. You know, the thing is, wrestlers that are trying to get the fight to the ground, it's a fight. So end of the day, you have to be able to have a well-rounded game. And if you're just going for takedowns and it's not doing anything, that's why the judges weren't really scoring it. So, you know, easy 2 rounds for me, second and third. Not easy, but in the judges' eyes, they saw enough for me to get the unanimous. But on my birthday, 29 years old, beating the #2 guy, and setting myself up for a title shot. So, you know, I'm just so proud of myself for turning up and staying focused for that 15 minutes, and, you know, not thinking about anything else, pushing to the side that it's my birthday. I didn't even remember until after the fight, and it was like, it all kind of hit me when I was walking out, and just like, man, look at all this hard work that I've done, and it's all paying off, and I've just set myself up. So yeah, just yeah, proud of myself.
It showed absolutely your range in the division as well. You can combat strikers and grapplers and wrestlers now. That's what this fight, I thought, proved for you. CKB have been criticised heavily about their ground game, and I thought after you winning that fight was a bit of a mark for CKB to go, you know what, we can go toe-to-toe with these guys and we can win these fights.
Yeah, exactly. It's mixed martial arts, and we've had to work on holes. And the thing about this sport's like you have to go out there and fix them. You know, no one's going to do it for you. And everyone knows that we have knockouts, and that's why that Cody fight was such a big fight. But a lot of people thought I was more impressive this fight because I got to show things that I've been working on, and my whole game, working my defense, working my submission defense, and then working on my composure. And, you know, high pressure fights, but you didn't see it on me. You know, I just kind of welcome it. That before the fight, I was just saying, you know, I want the best version of him, because when I'm in there and I neutralize it and get past this test, then there's no excuse not to give me the next title shot. So that's where we're at right now. You know, there's only Moreno in front of me, and he's already had his shot. He's fought the champ. They've fought each other 3 times. There needs to be new blood in this division and a new face for a challenger. And now being on a 3-fight win streak, beating a former world champion and now beating the number 2 guy, it's just set me up to, you know, for a big title fight. So wherever that's going to be, we're in talkings right now with the UFC. So if it's in July, hopefully that's the date that I've put out there. I know Izzy's trying to get on that card, and what better way to, I guess, do it with your teammate, fighting for a title when he's defending it. You know, that's never been done, and we just talked about that before. And yeah, it's going to be a massive moment. I think this will be in Vegas if it does go down. So that's kind of like my second home now. I fight there so often. So yeah, so it's such an exciting time for New Zealand combat sports.
Yeah. Something else we said off camera is that this seems like the logical choice and or decision. And Dan Hooker was sitting in where you're sitting right now, just before his London fight, and he said that this is the fight. Once Kai gets past Askar Askarov, he's fighting for the title. He's in those talks. Are you surprised that that's not the immediate reaction by the UFC?
I think with the UFC, they announced that fight a week before. Like, I wish they would have just held off and just waited for our fight to go ahead, and then they could have, you know, had a clear, I guess, challenger in front of them. But, you know, they're out to make the biggest fights, and they've been in talks about bringing that flyweight title fight to Mexico, where Moreno is from. So I guess for them, it's a lot to do with a few things, you know, not just who's the number 1 contender, but where it makes sense and all that. So I guess, you know, I've done my part where I've set myself up, being on a 3-fight win streak. So we're in the conversation, and you know, that's just the chat that me, Dana, and Eugene, our coach, have to make. And you know, it's out of my control now. I've done everything I need to. So that's the only fight I'm taking is the title fight. So there's no other fight for me besides for a belt. So yeah, it's an exciting time, but a few weeks off and then back to work kind of thing. But it's nice to be back home. No more MIQ, no more quarantine. Just I've missed that where someone's waiting outside the airport for you and be like, yeah, I can pick you up in 5 minutes. I'll be out.
Yeah, the simple things.
Yeah, so no, it's a great place to be.
Watching that fight against Askar Askarov, and I sort of felt like this with the Cody Garbrandt fight as well. There's been an evolution with Kai Kara-France, mentally and physically. We know you've got the tools to do what you do, but it feels like there's been a shift. What fight was it for you that you thought, okay, I'm at the other place now?
It was actually after a loss. I was on Fight Island, lost to Brandon Royval. And before that fight, you know, I knew I was coming into that fight sharp and ready. But after taking that loss, I had to like look myself in the mirror and be like, do I actually believe I'm the best? And it's something that I had to change. It's something that if you don't believe it, then no one else is going to believe it. So after that, I really had to dig deep and you know, started to draw from different other trainings, you know, different other coaches, and I guess just pick myself up, dust myself off, and get back in there. And then you saw that switch in that Bontarin fight when I was in a tough spot, but I never counted myself out. I just had to back myself. Eventually, things were going to work itself out, and then once I found the openings, I just went for it, and then built off that confidence going into the Cody fight. I know I'm the best in the world, and now I've just got to show it. So. Biggest stage, you know, fighting on a pay-per-view, last big pay-per-view for the year, Las Vegas, in Cody's hometown. You know, everyone going for him, everyone like saying, oh, yep, so when he gets past Kai, he'll be fighting for the title. And everyone just counted me out, but I used it as fuel. And then when I went in there, I was just like, I'm not losing tonight. And then, ended up getting the first round knockout. spoiled the party pretty much. And both of those fights before that, the other guy was the story. I was just another, just an opponent. No one really took too much notice of me. Same for this Askar Askarov fight. Everyone's like, oh, former champ, he wasn't in his prime anymore. Kind of was a lucky punch kind of thing. But against Askar Askarov, they're like, nah, we can't keep counting this kid out. We've got to give him a shot. But, in the betting odds, I was the complete underdog. People were like, oh, no, he's just going to get out-wrestled. He's just a striker. And then look what we did. Yeah. Now everyone's like, okay, Kai's the guy. He's champ material. Look what he's done in this division. Where he's at, he's definitely worked on his holes. And that's just where I'm at right now. Like, I know I'm the best in the world. So when I'm in there, there's no doubt in my mind. I put so much into these fight camps, these 10-week fight camps where I'm training 2-3 times a day. And, everything revolves around that. I have, so much recovery at home with a chest freeze and a sauna that I can do and be close to home. But I'm just, trying to be the best version of myself. So if that's at home with my son and my wife, being the best father and the best husband, that translates to being in the gym, the best athlete and the best fighter. So you're just seeing all of it align, and just in a great place. So many blessings in my life. But I guess with teammates like Israel and Alex and Dan and Brad, that standard of that we have at our gym is so high. Yep. So you have to reach that standard as well. So it just keeps me kind of grounded, keeps me just wanting more. And there's no limit of how far you can take this sport. Having world champions in your gym, you see it every day, day in, day out, and it just rubs off on you. So you're like, that's where I want to be. I know how to do it. I know how to get there, and just have to train hard and put it all together. But when you're in the ring, you just got to back yourself and believe it. And that's the difference. I'm actually believing it now.
Yeah, and that's the thing. A lot of people say those words, but I don't know if they actually know what that means. And it does feel like you are, very well and truly walking the talk now. You mentioned your teammates, and I wanted to know, how has your gym reacted to the win? What are the comments, the feedback you've been getting? I know when you are among, other fighters who are amazing as well, they probably have a lot of opinions about what they think should happen, or give you advice, or especially the likes of perhaps Israel, who's been in this position before. So what's been the feedback from City Kickboxing, especially after Dana White's comments this week about how the level of fighting in MMA in this region has really gone up?
Yeah, it's just been, everyone's just saying how well I did, and how proud they are, and just like, you're just on another level now. Like, having a weekend, just over the weekend, I was celebrating not only the win but my birthday with my friends, and me and Izzy were at one of our friends bar, at the bar, and just celebrating these small wins, because this isn't forever. You really have to reflect and just soak it all in, and then you move forward to the next. But just taking those little moments where we had a big chat, and we're just like, man, like, in short time, like, I can see it in you. He's like, before this fight, you had the fire in your eyes, and I've seen it in your last two, and that's the difference. Like, he's like, you're the new mythical, my new mythical creatures, evil Kai. I see it on your fight night, where it's like that darkness is in your eyes, and it's like a switch, and it's something that I've had to do over time, and just for experience, knowing when to turn it on. And that's when you see me like zoned in and locked in on fight night. It's like, I'm not like overthinking anything. I'm just like here in the moment. When you see me like pacing up and down, like cracking my knuckles, looking at my opponents, like I'm channeling all my tupuna, I'm channeling all my love from my friends and family back home. I'm channeling all that energy and all that love and support, but I'm harnessing it. And then, it's just a powerful thing. Especially what I do is, everyone's watching, everyone's, expecting big things, but I don't put more pressure on myself. I'm just going out there and just kind of like, being myself and putting on a show. So that's the difference. But yeah, everyone's obviously being real supportive and just saying, it's your time. You're champion. You've got that championship mindset now. And having Eugene and Twist, my cornermen that were over in Ohio with me, saying, you've done really well, and we're so happy that like what you're doing in there is smart and calm, and you've got yourself here, you know, look where you're at now. So yeah, it's just all coming together, and I knew this was going to happen. You know, I've visualized this for so many years now. So now seeing it all kind of work out, it's like deja vu for me, because I've seen it happen over and over, and now that it's happening, it's like I've already prepared for what's to come.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I fight for the title against either Moreno or Figueiredo, it's something I've visualized this for so long. So yeah, it's an exciting time for New Zealand combat sports to, you know, jump on board and yeah, just enjoy this ride with me, because hopefully we bring a fight back to New Zealand, and bring one, you know, to everyone that's missed it.
Definitely. Oh, saying that we've missed it is an understatement. It'd be awesome to have another card back here, or even at Australia. There'd probably be a little migration over there for that, I'm guessing, if your title fight was on that card.
Yeah.
During all this time too, your career in the UFC, you've done a lot of media, you're doing a lot of work with TV and hosting, and, you know, holding a microphone in the gym and interviewing yourself now. So I feel like you kind of know and understand, you know, fans and viewers and what they want to see, and you understand, you know, maybe politics isn't the word for it, but the TV side of things, of putting on a show. Yeah. You know, do you keep that in mind when you have fights? You want to put on, you know, an electric performance because you know that, you know, your next fight could be based on, you know, an exciting performance?
Definitely, you got to play to the strengths of who you're fighting in front of, and this sport is all about entertaining. You know, you got to obviously talk a lot and you know, say what you want, but then you have to back it up. If you don't back it up, your talk doesn't mean anything. So obviously my background, I've always been just a hard worker, and that's how I've got into where I am. But in the sport, you have to be able to, I guess, you know, entertain and you just put on a show. So in the fight, actually, against Askar Askarov, people don't know this, but he's, I think, 90% deaf. So right. He's got a hearing, impaired hearing. So when I was pointing to the ground and in the fight, it wasn't to, obviously it was to egg the crowd on and just go off that, but it was to show him, hey, let's fight. It's not a wrestling match anymore. And he shot straight away. So, you know, that's the difference. I'm not here to win a fight. I'm here to hurt you. I'm here to put on a show, and I'm here to, you know, have an exciting fight. And end of the day, this is a combat sport. You know, you got to mix it up. But when it's in those fire moments where the crowd's feeding off you and you're feeding off them, they want to see, you know, action. So that's the difference. So I knew once I had the crowd on board, just have to feed off that. So yeah, it's all about entertaining, obviously, and on the mic after I got on after the fight, one of my teammates, Frank, he's from America, and he was saying, if you say OHIO, they're gonna love it. So that's why I was like, oh, I have to say it just for the crowd. But yeah, they took me as one of their own that night, so I'll take it, you know. And yeah, that's the thing. You got to entertain. If you're not doing that, people don't want to watch you, especially in this flyweight division. We've come a long way. At the start, when I first started my debut, people were saying, you know, this division's boring. No one's going for finishes. No one wants to see this. And at one point, it was going to be stopped and dissolve and not be around. And people were saying, you know, you're going to go up to Bantamweight, or you're going to go to another promotion. It's like, no, I'm here in the UFC. This is where I want to be, and that's where I want to fight, at flyweight. So now where we're at, you know, flyweight's always putting on exciting fights. It's just a given. If you see bonuses, there's always given to at least one flyweight fight. So yeah, we're in a great place. You know, people are putting on exciting fights, and it's probably one of the most exciting divisions, because everyone can beat anyone. And you saw that, you know, beating a guy that's undefeated and a guy that everyone had been like, okay, this is a future champ, you know, beating a lot of guys in that top 5, never lost. But then I'm in the mix, you know, knocking out a former champion and now beating a guy that's never lost. This puts me in line for that next title. So that's where I'm at with all of that. But working on TV with Māori TV, as well as King of the Ring, doing commentary. It's life after fighting, you know, and I know that, and this isn't forever. So you have to set yourself up and get comfortable being behind a camera, reading off a teleprompter, and it's all kind of comes hand in hand with what we do. So you got to learn now while you're still in your career. So when it's time to hang up the gloves, it's an easy transition, and you always can I guess, have a job.
Stay employed, feed the family.
Yeah, exactly.
I actually made a comment to one of my colleagues after our last interview, and I was like, I barely have to ask you a question anymore. You just, you're a real talker from when we first started talking to now.
Yeah.
There's been a big shift
Yeah.
in that. So good on you for doing that. Look, UFC 273 is happening this weekend. Your mate, Alexander Volkanovski, is on the card. So let's have a little bit of a prediction time now. We'll look at the top 3 fights. So up first comes up Chimaev up against Gilbert Burns. How do you see that one going?
Well, yeah, if there's a guy that to be excited for, it's what's his name again?
Chimaev.
Chimaev, yeah. It's a hard name to say, so
it is.
Don't roast me. But yeah, he's definitely one of the biggest, I guess, hype fighters on the UFC roster. You know, this guy's only had 3 fights, but you know, he's got all the hype around him. Everyone's saying this guy's the next champ, the next big name. You know, he's even calling out Izzy, who's a weight class above him, saying I'll smash him, or in his way I'll smash him. But no, he's exciting. You know, he's been training with Darren Till. They've got like this bromance going on at the moment, and everyone just wants to see what this guy can do. So having an opponent like Gilbert Burns as a veteran, you know, this guy's one of the best grapplers in the UFC. You know, and he's got great stand-up. So it's a great name for Chimaev to take out and put on his resume. So it's, you know, one of those styles where he's an elite wrestler, but his stand-up is pretty sharp as well. You know, he's did a stint in Thailand at Tiger Muay Thai, and then finished off in his hometown in Sweden, and then now he's been training out of Vegas. And Gilbert Burns is well-rounded as well. So if I have to pick a winner, I guess I'm on the Chimaev hype train. I feel like he's going to be too much for Gilbert Burns. I feel like his wrestling's going to neutralize any kind of submission attempts from Gilbert, and I feel like he's just going to be too much for him. So it's all about timing in the sport, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like he's got the momentum now, and he's got all that confidence when he's in there. He's so in his element, you know, that I don't feel like he's losing anytime soon. So I feel like, he'll get the win, if not maybe by knockout, if not by decision, and just out wrestle him and outpoint him. Yeah.
I think was it his last fight or the fight before, he was fighting and talking to Dana White at the same time through the cage. Yeah. That's the confidence he brings in.
Well, exactly, yeah. He was fighting a tough Chinese, the Leech. That's right. Li Jiang, and straight away just had a body lock, lifted him up like a baby, and just was like talking to Dana, saying, I'm smashing everyone. And it's like, that's what you want to see, you know. He's here to entertain, and I guess that's what gives him like this awe, like he's doing that without any effort. There's no like limit of how far this guy can go.
Yeah, that's right. Very exciting fight to watch. Don't miss that one, Whānau. Co-main event is the Bantamweight title. It's on the line. Aljamain Sterling up against Peter Yan. The much anticipated rematch, might I add. The first fight was quite interesting to how the bout came into Aljamain Sterling's possession. So what are your thoughts on that?
Man, Aljamain Sterling, this guy, eh? So I fought on that card.
Yeah, that's right.
When he won the belt, but he, like, when they announced it, he got the knee to the head. It was a pretty solid knee. Yeah. But it's just not a way you want to win, right? And Peter, you know, should have known better. Even though he doesn't speak good English, he knows what the UFC rules are. Yeah. And I've trained with Peter in Thailand, and I don't know what he was thinking. The corners were saying no, but apparently he thought they were saying yes. So then he got him with a knee that was completely illegal. And Sterling dropped the belt, didn't want to get the belt that way. But then at the after party, he's like zipping it out of the bag, and everyone's egging him on, and he puts it on, and it's like, man, put that belt down. You haven't won it. Like, if you're the champ, you've actually got to earn it. So this is a much anticipated rematch, but I don't feel like it's going to go I don't think it's going good for Sterling. Peter's on another level, you know, stand-up wise, and just he hurts people, you know. And being one of his teammates at Tiger Muay Thai would go to war all the time, and he would just put it on it. Even if you're heavyweight, he would, you know, he wouldn't back down at all. So I don't think Sterling has got much for him. You know, that first fight wasn't going his way. You know, he was getting pieced up and just everywhere. He was just getting outworked. So I've seen videos of Sterling though. He's been, I guess he's believing his own hype and saying, you know, I'm going to take it to him this time, and I'm not leaving it to any judges. I'm not going to be I guess, faking my way to a win. But yeah, I feel like Peter's going to put him away. I feel like Peter's going to hurt him. He's sick of like having any kind of controversy over this fight, and he just wants it, past him now. So Peter, by at least, I feel like it will go into the second round, but I feel like he's going to get the stoppage here. So it's an exciting fight, though. People want to see it. Bantamweight's one of the stacked divisions. So many high-level guys. But Peter's last fight was insane against Corey Sandhagen.
That's right.
Back-to-back, like a back-and-forth war, but just put on a clinic against such a tough and great striker. Corey Sandhagen is on another level as well, and yeah, Peter did well to neutralise that. So great fight for the fans, and yeah, it's just going to get you ready for what's to come in the main event.
It's all in build-up. And finally, we actually got to catch up with Aljamain Sterling. Here are his thoughts. I wanted to start off by asking you, to take us back to UFC 259, where you actually collected the Bantamweight titleship bout, because that fight was all sorts of crazy and will probably go down in UFC history as one of the strangest ways to pick up a title bout. So do you ever think about that moment still and how you came to be the Bantamweight champion?
Yeah, from time to time. I mean, I kind of put it to rest until the fight got closer. So when the UFC countdown started coming out on TV, which was for me 2 days ago. So then I kind of went back down memory lane for the most part. And of course, when you're reviewing tapes, seeing things that you did and what you could do better, and making sure that you're being honest with yourself. So other than that, very strange turn of events. But at the end of the day, for me, it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because I get an opportunity to right the ship in terms of my performance and do it the right way. That was like a weird day. I don't know how it went left like that for me, but I just made one bad calculation with my nutrition that day, and it literally threw an entire 8-week training camp out the window, and that's not going to happen again. So I think this time the fans are really in store for a great fight that it should have been the first time, and there's a good chance we both end up in the hospital, or I make this look really, really easy, and I finish this guy in the first round.
I'm loving the confidence, and I really admire that, because once you got that bout, there was so much scrutiny about, the legitimacy of you having the bout, when at the end of the day, that knee was not your fault, and that those are the rules. So, how do you deal with that and, rise above those comments, knowing that you are the Bantamweight champion?
I just look at my resume. I think that's the best way to look at it. And to put in perspective, for me, I felt like the champ when I beat Corey Sandhagen. We were the two highest ranked guys in the division at that time. Back in 2020, Jan was coming off of a win over a guy that I just beat within the top 5, who was no longer in the top 5 after I beat him. And on top of that, he dropped the round to that guy. I finished all 3 rounds, unanimous decision, Jimmy Rivera. Then I beat Pedro Munoz, second top 5 guy. And then he goes and fights Uriah Faber, who wasn't even ranked, and that gets him a title shot. When you got 2 of the highest ranked guys in myself and Corey Sandhagen not fighting for the vacant title, but Jose Aldo coming off of a loss back then, getting to fight Peter Yan for a vacant title. So, I mean, the fans were on my side back then. It's just crazy to see how quickly they could change their tune and start to call me the fake champ when Yan was the paper champ at the time, because he fought nobody in the top 5. Aldo wasn't even in the top 5 when they fought, and he was coming off of a loss. So for me, I felt like the champ all along this entire time, and I just had a bad title defense against Piotr Yan. Now I get the opportunity to right that wrong, and that's it. I can't go back in time and change him throwing that knee. That's on him. I had an opportunity, I blew it, and now I got an opportunity because he blew it for himself. So it's I make sure I pack my rule book in my suitcase, because I'm gonna make sure I bring it for the press conference, because I'm not sure if he read it yet, but I got to make sure he reads it before we step in that octagon again.
That was my very next question. I couldn't help but, giggle a little bit on Instagram when you brought out the MMA rule book for dummies. And I wanted to ask you, what are the contents of that book? Why are you taking it to training?
Well, we had to go over what you could do for a downed opponent in certain situations, and we wanted to make sure we had everything dialed in so we didn't make that mistake, the same thing my opponent had did in the past. So I think he needs to take a look at that and try to figure out the right things you can do. You could punch, You can go for a choke. You can just let the guy up, or just, I don't know, wait for the guy to get up and then try to throw the knee. Things that are rational. But for some reason, he became the champion somehow, some way, and didn't know that.
Yeah, it was quite interesting indeed, even though he does say that he wasn't quite sure when he threw the knee, etc., etc. Despite all of that, though, Aljamain, at the end of the day, you've spent time with him in the cage now, which is an advantageous position to be in when you're going to have a rematch, especially for a bout. So what do you know to expect from Jan on the weekend?
I think he's a tough dude, tough competitor. I respect his skills. I think he brings a lot to the octagon. I think the one part that I'm still questionable about is his grappling. And I think he might have a false sense of confidence from all those easy trips that he was getting that amounted to really nothing, because you're throwing around a guy who is literally a walking heavy bag and not able to do anything because he's so compromised coming into the fight. So when you don't have that in front of you, you got a guy who's actually going to offer back some offense, and on top of that, going to offer out some offensive grappling and can actually take you down just as easy as he did in the first round for the entire fight. That's a scary guy, and I want to see how he adjusts with that, because I really do think one of us is going to look really, really dumb, and I do not think it's going to be me. I really don't. And I know what I felt in there, and I don't feel like it was anything special and out of the ordinary, even on a bad day in the office. And that gives me a ton of confidence going in. But at the end of the day, I'm not underestimating that he's made some good adjustments. And he looks physically strong himself too, because I feel like he realized how strong I was even on a bad day, that he needs to catch up in that department. So I think the fans are in for a great show on April 9th. Well, for you guys, the 10th.
Well, we are hoping for that as well. And look, your preparation towards this fight, your journey to this rematch has been quite a tough one as well. You sustained, a neck injury that you'd been battling with for years. So talk about how you've gone through that recovery and how you're feeling now.
It was a tough decision to make. I mean, I was going to pull out the very first fight for December 12th in 2020 that we were supposed to have. Piotr pulled out of the fight 3 weeks beforehand. For what? I have no idea. I'll let the fans decide and have fun with that one. But he pulled out of the fight.
Reasons.
Yeah, personal. Whatever the heck that means. Yeah. I have no clue. Like, that makes no sense to me. But undisclosed reasons, he pulls out of the fight 3 weeks before, feeling great. But I was also contemplating pulling out of the fight myself because of my neck. And this is all documented. I stay within the fight. He pulls out. Okay, so now I got time. Okay, blessing in disguise, in my opinion. I get time to rehab. I get a cortisone shot, calms everything down. Then we get to the next fight camp. And then, so it is what it is. Like, it's been a long road to recovery. And I feel like I've been thinking about this guy for way too long in my life. And I need to just end this chapter with him the right way so we can both move on. And then I can move on to bigger and better fights. And that's the way I'm kind of looking at this. Make sure I'm focused for 25 minutes or less. And I'm glad my neck is fixed. I'm night and day better in terms of training. I don't have to take anywhere from 1 to 7 days off just to nurse my neck and let the swelling and inflammation calm down from a stinger in training, So imagine what that's like, going through training camp after training camp after training camp and still even getting to this level, being able to climb to the top of the mountain. That's hard to do. So no one could ever question me about my toughness or try to make me feel bad about anything I've done in the past. And try to just downplay the type of person that I am. At the end of the day, it's all words. It doesn't mean anything. And again, we're at the pinnacle of this again. So there's a light at the end of the tunnel, and we're finally going to get to figure out who is who.
And I think that is actually something you and Jan can both agree on, is closing this chapter of this long saga that's all been just over a year in the making.
It's tiring.
I bet it is. I bet it is. Look, finally, Aljamain, the Bantamweight title, of course, you are its holder. But what does it mean to come into this rematch and have a convincing win? What does that mean to you?
It proves to me that everyone that's close to my circle and to myself, that I knew what I was talking about. Going in, I felt like crap. Imagine being in the hotel room from 12 o'clock to 8:30 at night, trying to audible what you're going to do for the fight because you feel like absolute crap and you cannot figure out why. Not nerves. I felt nerves on fight day, and it was nothing like that. And it felt like I was still cutting weight. So to be able to go out there and put on the finishing touches, I'm not worried, man. I feel like all the pressure is on his back because he has to go out there and prove the odds makers right, and he's got to go out there and prove that I'm the clown, the Koshki, So I'm comfortable. At the end of the day, the ball's in my court, and it's whatever I decide to do with it, and I think I'm gonna go out there and show out.
Finally, I told a little bit of a lie, but this will be the final question. You said off camera that you were feeling a little hungry. So what is the celebratory meal after you fight Petr Yan?
I don't know what they have in Jacksonville, like the specialties. I heard that there's a good Jamaican community, and if they do have that, I plan on getting some Jamaican food, some rice on peas, and some oxtail. That's what I plan to do. If not, then I guess I'll just have to wait till I get back to New York to grab some pizza, and just have some fun that way, and some Jamaican food as well. So I can't wait to get back big again. Being ripped like this is fun and cool. It looks great. But guys, it hurts, and it's a lot of discipline to not have the candies and the chocolate that I crave so much that I always want to have.
Okay, we'll take your advice. We'll carry on with the candies and chocolates there. Look, Aljamain,
moderation, everything in moderation.
That's true. That's very true. Look, thank you so much for joining us and for your time, and all the very best for the weekend ahead.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, Kai, the next fight, I feel like I already know what you might say about this one and how you think it might go. But your teammate, Alexander Volkanovski, the Whangai brother from Freestyle MMA in Australia, has putting his bout back on the line in the featherweight division up against Korean Zombie.
Yeah, it's a good fight. This is a fight that it could have happened a few years ago, but things have the way the division works, the way the UFC works is all about timing. And originally, Max Holloway was fighting, and then he got injured. So then Korean Zombie, right time at the right place, and got a title shot. So I'm surprised these guys haven't fought earlier because Korean Zombie's been in the UFC for years now.
Time,
At one point, he had to do his mandatory military service in Korea, so he was away for like 2 or 3 years in the prime of his career, and had to go do that. But yeah, he's always been in title fights, always been in great wars. That's why they call him the Korean Zombie. But Alex is, man, he's on another level against Ortega. That's one of the best fights in the UFC ever.
Yep.
Just to see him go past, go to another level and get past that adversity, being stuck in that choke, but just finding a way, and then just put it on Ortega. And at one point, I thought they were going to stop it, and Ortega showed how tough he is. Got up, he was lying on the ground for that whole minute in between the rounds. I didn't think he was going to get back up, but he ended up finding a way, and that 5th round was close, or was a competitive round. But yeah, Alex he's showing why people need to start to respect him. Him fighting Max twice and getting the decision. People are saying, oh, he got gifted these fights. That Ortega fight showed there's a different level where Alex is right now, and training out of freestyle under Joe Lopez, integrating the city kickboxing structure and system that they have in place. They've got some great guys that they train with over in Australia, like Jamie Malaki, and I know Tyson Pedro is training there now, getting ready for his next fight. So they've got some good guys there, but they're over in Jacksonville now. Brad's over there helping them out. And Frank as well, and the usual guys that are on the team. So, yeah, I don't feel like Alex is losing this bout. I think he's on 20?
I think it's 20.
20, yeah, 20 fight, 20 wins right now. And yeah, he's just looking unstoppable. So, I see Alex putting the pressure on the Korean Zombie, but the Korean Zombie will get into a war. Like, he loves that. That's what he thrives in. But Alex can take it anywhere. He's got one of the best top games in the UFC. So if he gets the fight to the ground, he'll stay on top of him, hurting him. And then his stand-ups come a long way. You're starting to see that city kickboxing style that he pulls from. And he's really technical in there with his stand-up, not just getting into brawls. He'll set everything up with feints and range, and then he'll swarm when he needs to. And then he's always got that element to take the fight to the ground. So his ground game's legit. Off his back, he's got some good submissions, and you can see that he's defending against the Ortega fight, and he's just a dog in there. Like, you have to take the belt from him, and you have to kill him. So I'm excited to watch him do work. I've missed watching him, and it's going to be a great night for him.
Well, I'm guessing Alexander Volkanovski thinks the exact same way. Here are his thoughts, and he is as confident as ever. We'll start with your preparations, because thinking back to the fight you had with Brian Ortega compared to, the fight that you maybe predict that the Korean Zombie will bring, two very different styles, right? So how have you prepared for the Korean Zombie?
I'm always preparing properly. I'm lucky enough to have a good team that makes sure we're doing the right things. So, I'm going to be fit. I'm going to be going out there being sharp and all that. But stylistically, this is obviously a different fight. But the beauty of it, the last one was very fun and obviously a crowd pleaser. And I believe that's going to be the same for this. I think it is a different fight, but at the same time, this fight, the fight that Zombie brings, just means it's going to be a firefight type of fight. So I can't wait.
You call that fight really fun when, from where I was sitting, it looked like an all-out war. UFC history-making fight, in my opinion. That fight was absolutely epic. Do you think back to that battle against Brian Ortega, and perhaps what did you take away from that fight?
Yeah, I do. Obviously, it's doing the rounds, especially now. You're seeing it, now I'm here, got the belt out, I'm here. I'm not daddy at home now, I'm champ. So, I'm soaking it all up. And there's a lot of hype out there, so that's good. But yeah, man, it was I did enjoy it. It was fun for me. It really was, because just having with the lockdowns and all that type of stuff, having the full crowd again and all that type of stuff was incredible. And I love it in there. You know what I mean? I love being in the cage doing my thing. So I really did enjoy it, and I can't wait to do the same this weekend. You know what I mean? Honestly, the hard part is leading up to the fight. Fighting is the fun part. It really is. As long as you're prepared, you can at least go out and enjoy it. If I'm underprepared, now I'm nervous and worried about did I do enough and all that. I don't need to worry about that. I just worry about what's in front of me. So that's why I can enjoy myself so much, purely because I know I did enough.
We've seen Korean Zombie entering the gym with Henry Cejudo. Henry Cejudo, of course, got a lot of trash talking going on in the background. But what are you expecting from him, seeing as, the environment he's kind of in at the moment?
Oh, man, look, even if they do come up with a strategy, I think we know the type of stuff that Henry would be teaching him. But in saying that, whatever if you're going to try and change your game, it's so quickly as well, it ain't easy to do that. And then even if you are trying to stick to it early, like the type of fighter I am and the puzzle I put in front of you, you don't have time to play a role that you're not used to. You are going to go back to the Zombie you always were, which is still fun and still dangerous. But he's probably going to have a strategy and a game plan and all that. But I think that goes out the window, and you're going to see the old Zombie walking forward, trying to take my head off. I ain't going to let him. I'm going to take his off.
Very good, very good. I actually cannot wait for this fight, because obviously it was supposed to be the Max Holloway fight, but it's fallen into Korean Zombie's lap. He's fought for the title before. So, when you think about his journey in the UFC, which has been a pretty long time, do you think that this is maybe his last chance to get the title ever?
Yeah, I think it is, purely because I plan on going out there and winning, and that obviously puts him back down the line. And you can't say it's definitely over, but I think this probably is his last chance. But yeah, again, I ain't gonna feel sorry for him. I've got to go out there and do me. I've got a family to look after, so I'm happy for him. And his family, that he got this opportunity, because he's done great things in this sport. But at the same time, I need to punch him in the face, get that victory, get that ruby, and bring that belt home back to my family.
Simple as that, right?
Yeah, it is.
In terms of your camp, it looks like from the clips that are, coming out by the UFC, that you're really enjoying yourself. You're out shooting and kayaking, and you have a great group around you. One of those people in particular, of course, New Zealand lightweight Brad Riddell. What does he bring to your camp, and how do you feel, the vibe of this camp has been going?
Oh, it's been great, because we've got the whole team back together. It's been hard. We've, you would know, with the travel and all that type of stuff for Australia and New Zealand, especially New Zealand. So it was hard for him to get to the camps and all that. So I haven't seen him since, it would have been Fight Island. That would have been the last time I seen him. So I had a couple of camps without him and things like that. But, it's good to have everyone back again. You know what I mean? And having him in the corner again, you know, it's just have the whole crew. Obviously, they all got the knowledge and all that type of stuff. But I mean, the energy we have and the banter we have, everything. It feels normal again, feels right again. We're all enjoying ourselves, as you've seen. We're doing some fun activities. We come here a little bit early, so you know, I still had to do some hard training. But in between them hard sessions, we were able to, you know, go out and see Jacksonville and, you know, go out in the bush, have a bit of fun. And again, we're enjoying ourselves, soaking it all up, and we're going to keep the vibes going through the weekend. There'll be some good vibes in that arena come Saturday or Sunday in New Zealand, Australia as well.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, a happy fighter is always a dangerous one, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I had
right.
Yeah, I had a conversation with Kai Kara-France, who, you know, is backing you 100%, being, you know, you guys are teammates. And he says that he feels you're just on a different level now. You have that championship mentality that is different from everyone else in that division, including Corey and Zombie. Do you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. You know what I mean? I've always, you know, like I'm a competitive guy, so I'm always going to do what I need to do to get to where to get to where I want to be. And, you know, it's not just that. You know, now I've got the knowledge and everything on top of that experience, and I still got that drive that he's talking about. I've still got that, plus so many more new tools, a whole new level of confidence. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? I'm in great shape right now. I'm very happy where I am, and you know, you're going to see a very comfortable and confident Alexander the Great Volkanovski come April. What is it in Australia? April 11th in Australia. April 10th. April 10th in Australia. In New Zealand. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah. Look, the featherweight title, you've held it, you know, for a little while now. I don't know if saying that you come accustomed to it or used to it is the right term to use, but what does it mean for you to come out there, put on a performance and retain that title?
That means everything to me. You know, I need to be successful. You talk about legacy, you talk about making money for your family and all that type of stuff. You need to win. You know what I mean? Losing is too many steps backwards, and I can't afford that. You know, but I mean, you talk about legacy and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? It all relies on how you go out there and do your thing. But at the same time, I'm going to go out there and win. That's the main thing. But, you know, I want to do it in wild fashion too. I want people talking about it. I wanted to do the highlight reels. You know, I want to do in the rounds. I want people talking about it. You know, that's what I do want to do, you know. But at the same time, I can't be silly and take crazy risks. But you will see me go out there, have fun, do my thing, and I'm going to go out there and be victorious.
Awesome. Alex Volkanovski, thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best for the weekend ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Book now, whānau. UFC 273 is a pay-per-view event you do not want to miss. It goes down this Sunday from 2 p.m. So get clicking now. Thank you for joining us, and thank you, Kai Kara-France, for joining me as well. Turned into quite the co-host today.
Yeah, I might have a new job here. Right?
There you go. We like to hear it from us here at UFC on Sky. Whānau, hei kōna mai.